promiscuous sex, okay?
Stephen Krug super
and it's because
$99.99. This Generation Z is ultra sensitive to negative feedback. It's a huge issue and must be changed. On this panel I see undeveloped 18 years old brains who are in dire need of a relationship mentor, or it will spiral down a bad road. Girls, read David Boss Evolution of Desire.
Do you guys have a response to Stephen Krug?
I think that our generation is extremely too sensitive. I fully agree with that.
Right.
I feel like
There
a
we
lot
go.
of people can almost, I think that everyone can agree
I don't know
with that.
anyone who calls our generation tough.
Yeah.
And I
at
feel
all.
like, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I feel like I'm getting called out because I was like, listen, I think you're being a little condescending speaking to us like this. But I am fully with you. I totally agree. And I can confidently say not many people in my generation could grow up in the household I grew up in. You know, I was not beaten, but my parents were not soft on me. And I am as well a blunt individual. So if I feel like I'm being spoken down to, I'm going to speak up to you because I totally respect you and I think you're super smart and I'd like to have a cordial conversation. And I think that you're looking at us as, Gen Z, who I think that I am, would not morally fall into that category. I wish I could articulate that better. That's not correct. But, if we're going to have this conversation, I totally agree. But it's just is the you and them. And so I agree. Gen Z needs to hear all of this. But this panel, I think it's more of a conversation than a lecture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely... So I just graduated undergrad, too, in May, right?
Congratulations.
So, thank you. Yeah, I have a degree in anthropology. But I also saw, kind of the stuff that was going on in modern dating. And so, you guys are just so beautiful. And if you don't figure...
Thank you.
No,
you are too.
No, I genuinely mean it. And, being pregnant with a daughter has really made this, a reality check. Because I had a bias in favor of men for a really long time because I also work predominantly in men's issues and men have been very good to me in these last couple of years in my life. But when I found out, when I had my ultrasound and there wasn't any dingleberries on my baby, I was like, oh crap, what are women's issues again? And this is because I'm married to a very good man. He treats me very well. So I've just been protected from a lot of things. I would say for it's going to be 2 years soon, but I've been married for a year. I just had my first anniversary. So now I'm being faced with this stuff. And so when you guys are talking about these guys that are using you, and it's a small pool of men. We know this, right? But when you're saying this stuff, I'm like, no, I don't want this for my kid, and because when you guys talk about these failed breakups and stuff, because I'm a woman too. So I just think about all the times that I've cried over guys. And I know you guys have done it too, 2 a.m., I hate this guy, I wish he was dead. But it's just because I think we don't understand how they work, So that's all I really do. And it can sound blunt and condescending, but I'm also just being faced with this. I have to figure out the world for my baby girl. And, oh no, she's not going to be in California. I'm sorry, UC Santa Barbara, no thank you. We're going to stay in the Midwest. No, you got me messed up. No.
Yeah, well, so UCSB, it's... frequently ranked as the #1 party school in the U.S. Isla Vista, the community that surrounds it, it's basically 20,000 college students crammed into a space less than the area of a square mile. So, probably maybe not the most ideal place to.
No, when you're talking about your dating pool and your stats, that's not an Ivy. That's not in Santa Barbara. So,
really quick, just big shout out to Flan Life, Andrew there. Thank you for the. I think you've done 40 gifted memberships so far tonight, but you did 20, so thank you, Andrew. Really appreciate your continued patronage week after week. Really quick, because we didn't get to you on this, kind of your relationship situation, right? We didn't get to you. Did we?
No, we didn't. I talked a little bit about it. I can share more. So in 28, I've been married for a year. Also, I'm in an age gap marriage, so millennial men, I'm sorry, I know you guys are in the chat, but something is wrong with y'all. So I was yeah. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
No, Brian, I stand by it.
I am a millennial.
Yes.
What's wrong with millennial men?
I don't know what happened. It's
Wait, what?
I'm what's not? I'm also a millennial. I don't look it, but I'm 34.
Yeah, you're a millennial.
Yeah, and like it's not to negate, like there's problems with millennial women for sure, and those like there's problems with women that are like Gen Z women as well. Like I do equal rights, equal lefts. Gen X men. Oh, thank you. Whatever the sound is about to be.
Oh no, I was just.
Sorry, okay.
Don't worry about it.
So like Gen X men. This is what I mean by I'm in an age gap marriage, right? So my husband, he's 51. I'm 28. Gen X men, they had to. Well, he's got a 6-pack though, so it's like
That's
Sorry, Eric.
awesome.
It's feeling
dating my dad.
Yeah, it hit different. We got a supercar, like it's cool, but
That's awesome.
So
Wait,
like,
you're 28. He's 51. You
So
said.
how many years
Yeah.
is that?
in difference? Yeah, 23.
That's my dad's 51.
Let's do the math.
But it's
Chat.
like I'm not dating my dad though. You know what I mean?
How old is your dad?
I don't really have one, girl. So.
Oh yeah, she said that. Stella,
sorry, I didn't know
behave.
No, you'll see, right? Okay, so like I'm 28 and he's 51, right? So like when I am 50 and he's 70, is anybody gonna care?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like nobody, like because I'm young now, a lot of people care and they think like, oh, like you've been groomed or blah, blah, blah. But I started dating him when I was 25, right? So like my point about like Gen X men versus millennial men have like bought into this equality stuff where they you know.
Sorry, hold
High
on just a
Value
sec.
Man donated $100.
Yo, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
These college-age women are the children of feminism and failed ideology that is now causing the destruction of Western civilization. As I stated in a previous episode, older/wiser women used to keep younger, more naive women in check. Thank you, Allie.
All right, the chat's on fire tonight.
Look,
Was that it,
you're welcome,
Allie?
high value men. However, like checking women, they're not going to listen if you anger them. So you have to like talk to them with empathy. I know this is shocking, but so like millennial men, for some reason they bought into this nonsense about like gender equality and I can have these more feminine traits. No, thank you. So Gen X men, they had to run game. They had to know game. And if you go look at like old 80s movies, there was like the jock and their cheerleader. There was like masculine and feminine. And so like these dudes, they had to get your number and you had to call and then you had to make plans and then so you got rejected in person. I don't know what's going on with like the social media and the swipes. These dudes have like no game, right? Now women, like we don't have game either because you know what the men tell me about like modern game? They say like we suck at conversation.
Yeah, most of us are pretty personality-less, I'd have to say. And I totally agree. You know, back in the day, dudes had to be a dude, be a man. But, there's just like, I mean, you've got all your numbers and I'm blanking on mine, but the levels of testosterone in men today versus in men 60 years ago are insanely different.
Yeah.
And that's not, just your fault. America's, food system is just an absolute joke, and we are just eating garbage our whole life, and everything's made out of soy, and it's not really to their fault. And I don't want to be like, screw the government, but there is a serious like biological lack there.
Mm-hmm. So men today are half as fertile as their grandfathers. Like the same thing's happening to women, right? But it's like the testosterone is dropping, sperm count is dropping. So like we can look at environmental things, but I mean I'm more on the romantic side of things when it comes to like I do want a masculine man that I look up to, which means I don't necessarily want to be equal to my husband, and so like that's why I ended up dating older. And that's why I ended up marrying older. I don't think that I think there's a very small pool of masculine millennial men, and I think competition would have been probably really hard for me. I don't even know the kind of women that they would have married, probably more on the traditional side of things for those men that were willing to get married. But my husband has shared some stories as well. Like he just couldn't say no to women until he was like 35. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes it is beneficial to go older. So like don't forget that part. But age gaps to you guys, like 23 years is a lot, okay? But like an age gap to y'all could be like 4 to 7 years, and like just don't forget that you don't have to just date the guys your age.
Well, I think that's so normalized now, like dating someone older than you. Like I don't think that that's any bit off. The guy that you're dating is 20-something years older than you. I know this is a little bit weird because it was a long time ago, but my grandma is dating someone, I want to say 30 years younger than her. And they've been together for like 10 years now. And at first, like when I was young, hearing that, I'm like, what the fuck? But now I'm like, okay, it's a little bit more normal. And like growing up, I also dated older guys, so I don't think that there's anything weird about that.
Really
at
quick
all.
on this. So what's the oldest guy that you've dated?
I want to say he was probably like 20, but I was like 16 at the time. So that was a little bit of a weird situation. That was weird. I'm not going to validate that, but
That's grooming a little bit.
I had that. No, yeah, that was weird. But you asked the oldest guy I dated. Right now I'm dating someone that's 2 years older than me. So he's about to be 20.
That's pretty standard. Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's weird. You said you were 16 and he was 20.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird because I was 16 though.
Well,
In
like
California, there's laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it's within 4 years and it's consensual, it's legal. So
Is it-
that was
like
legal.
Romeo and Juliet thing? Is
Yeah,
that what you're talking
if
Yeah.
he's, I think I want to say as long as the younger party is above 14 in California, they can date to 18, and then I think if you're 15, you can date 19. I could be wrong there. Don't quote me on that, but I think that there is a law there that until you're 18, you can date up to 4 years older than you.
I think
as long as
just
it's consensual.
honestly, just wait until 21 to even hold hands.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, joking. Okay.